Joseph and I have been talking about burnouts and burnout prevention and how you can kind of learn how to not end up in a burnout or how to get out of a burnout in the best way. And I feel oftentimes it's also so much about the environment you're in, like not being able to talk about the stress you have, not being able to talk about the fears at work or other things that are on your mind probably makes you lead into burnout a lot faster as compared to just openly share with people, having people understand what is going on in your life, in your head, and then help you maneuver in a different direction rather than just being completely surprised and caught off guard, finding out their friend is burned out from one day to the other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, let people be there for you, right? Support each other. I totally agree.
Are you good at asking for help?
No. This is something that I kind of like made a YouTube video about it. So last year I started therapy, and it's because I made this video basically talking about the relationship with my parents and how we're different and them not being so, let's say both parties, like maybe I'm not so accepting of them and they're not so accepting of me and the work that I create and all that kind of stuff. And it was a very difficult, very heavy video to create. There was a lot of pain that I saw myself on the camera, on screen, kind of go through, and then having to like rewatch it and then edit a video out of it, you know, like rewatching again and again and again. Like it was very, very heavy. And there was so much of build-up of emotions that I just like, and I couldn't release it. Like I just didn't cry. And so I was like, there's something really wrong here that I need to kind of address. So I started doing therapy for that. And it got to a point where it was just like very, it was too much. I needed to let out. And I was lying in bed with Santo and we were just kind of like chatting. And I told him like, Santo, like I just need to, I need to cry. I just don't know how. And that was that moment of like asking for help that I hadn't really done before. And so he was like, okay, like especially not when it comes to like this whole like emotional like vulnerability thing. And so he suggested doing a breath work. So he was just like, put a breath work on my phone, and he was just like, just sit down, lie down, do the breath work, I'm gonna leave you. And then he gave me like a really good hug, and then he left. And yeah, I did the breath work, and as I was doing it, like I felt like things like started to come up. But the thing that really released, that like kind of like opened the floodgates, was just me feeling that hug. That like going back to it and thinking about how I let this person be there for me, and how that really changed things. Where before I didn't ask for help, I wouldn't have been able to open the floodgates to that.
Yeah. What was making you feel stuck before?
I think it's a learned behavior given how I grew up when it comes to being an immigrant child, moving from Syria to Canada, growing up in a culture where, you know, men don't cry, where I've only seen my dad cry like a handful of times, including when his mother passed away. And when we moved to Canada, like I was seeing my parents going through a lot of struggle to build the best possible life for their children, for my sister and I, and try to hide it in the best way possible that they can, in that like, don't worry about this, like we've got it kind of thing. We're taking you through it. And they did a phenomenal job. They built a really beautiful life. But when they were going through these struggles, you know, then as a child, kind of like seeing them struggle in this way, I learned to suppress what I was feeling because it didn't feel like it was important. Because they're busy, you know what I mean? They're doing all of this stuff, like they don't have space and time for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so my body just learned how to like hold it tight, you know? Yeah.
And maybe dismiss it, gaslight yourself to, okay, this is not important.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
And then like it's just like a learned behavior where like I was navigating through the world with this tightness that was really serving me. I was able to always put things away whenever I needed, and I could continue like this, but we're on this planet to like get to know ourselves, right? Like I think this is just every human's job is just to get to know yourself. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm not living my best life. And so that's where I was just like, something needs to happen.
So you've been practicing asking for help, like from Santo, for your close people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we realized, like for ourselves when we talk about it, but also a lot of guests that we had on the podcast. And everybody's a pretty independent person. They have the shit together. They've been working on themselves so much. And continuously, this is one of the things that everybody struggles with. From a person who's running a business and a large team where they are the provider of help for others in a professional way, to even a person who's a solopreneur or a musician, an artist, and they have a big network. They're connected to their audience. They're always there for other people. But when it comes to them asking for help, super hard.
Yeah. We've all built like really beautiful lives, right? And I was able to do it alone. But then once I like moved to Berlin and I started making friends and then these like platonic life partners, I was like, actually, I don't need to do it alone. You know what I mean? Like I could share these parts of me and ask for help and stuff like that. And that leads to a way more fruitful, beautiful life.
Yeah, and it also depends on how do you actually define a fruitful and beautiful life. Like maybe from the outside, yes, you've learned to be super strong, you've learned to be independent, and on paper you have a great career, everything looks amazing, but you're completely missing out on the more emotional, more spiritual, more loving part of it, which is opening up with other people, giving love, receiving love, which is a completely different part of life that you can maybe not put on paper or measure by whatever means, but can be equally important, if not a lot more important.